Hi Service, this is Anup and you're watching NYK Civic. Today we will be talking about the Black Panther, that is Marvel Cinematic Universe film, but that is one of the most anticipating film of that series and Hollywood because it is completely based on the African American peoples and the art and culture of the Africa. But what India can learn from this film? Let's check it out. I'm a big fan of MCU. When this film has been released, The Black Panther, I have seen this film right away. But after a long time, I find out I have missed one scene that has been censored in India. Actually, the scene has not been completely wiped out, but the particular word has been censored. That when the Mbaku, the Jabri tribe leader, has challenged the Black Panther, that time he says, the glory to Hanuman. Lord Hanuman is most popular god in India. In Black Panther, the reference to the Hanuman is not just a bare fiction. He was worshipped by the warriors across many parts of the ancient world. At that time, the ship sails on trade around the Indian Oceans, which include India, East Africa, Arabia, Persia and Southeast Asia. They not only transport the goods and clothes, but they carry forward the stories and tales of the Indian god and goddess. In return, African ideas, material and peoples reach out to the Indian source, from which the Syrian people, originally from the ancient Ethiopia and Kenya, came here many centuries ago. But over the time, they rose into great traders, warriors and even king and queens. Many of them has converted into Hinduism and Islam, and they have completely taken over the Indian ways. And some of them nowadays speaking Marathi and Gujarati. But India and Africa shares a dark community, that is, they are the victims of the foreign invaders that they have suffered for few centuries. That has completely destroyed their art, culture, people, economy and the technology of Africa and India. The Angus Madison, one of the British economic historians, stated that India was #1 economy in the world in the centuries before the British arrived. Ancient India has a tremendous crop of knowledge, not only in the domain of spirituality but also in the various technology like mathematics, astronomy, medicine, navigation, agriculture, etc. India had one of the oldest and the largest university of its time, that's Nalanda University, with the capacity of more than 10,000 students, but it has been destroyed in 1193 by the Turkic invaders. Historians estimate the man-made famines killed 30 to 30 million people in India during the British Raj. The Bengal famine of 1943 to 1944 to the name, but one was the result of the consequences of war policy of Winston Churchill. An estimated 4 million Indians starved to death because of his disease. India could be killmonger and react to the past crimes with anger, hatredness and vengeance. Or instead of T'Challa, who acknowledged the past historical crime without anger and hatredness. Instead of seeking revenge, he instead worked for the Waganda to make it strong. Watching Black Panther, it also reminds me a negative strength on the modern day India-Africa relationship. Indians remember the mass explosion from Uganda under Idi Amin in 1970, and Africans feel the racism of modern India towards them. They have been reported of attacks on African students in India. But these go against the grain of tradition of Indian and African ties. Even in the past, Indian-inspired decolonization movement across the Africa, India also invests a lot on the fields such as energy, telecommunication and education. Ghana President Palace was built by the India. I couldn't help but notice that many of the traditional clothes in Black Panther had a mix of African and Indian design. India and Africa would do well by remembering their own ancestors, by approaching to each other with liberalism and respect, and build a greater future. Another forceful message emerged in the Black Panther is the word pride. Waganda may be a fictional state, but the ancient kingdom of Songhai and the Zimbabwe are not. India Africa must remember the great achievements of our ancestors, infuse ourselves with pride and strive towards the scaling greater heights today. And not because we want to prove something to the invaders and colonists who once brought us to our knees. We must make grand achievements today so that we can prove ourselves a worthy descendant of our remarkable ancestors. Waganda forever is a salute in the film, but if you permit me, I will say Africa forever and India forever too. On this note, I am ending this video. What do you think? How can we achieve a greater height with Africa? Do comment down below. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and share the video. That's it for now. This is Anup signing off. See you again.